Hello, welcome to the final best of one of today. Fury is now dropped in that lower bracket, but that means that they still need at least one partner to be joining them there. We have Falcons making their debut. The MENA region is here today up against MnM. So let's have a look at the group A. With Sandbox winning the first game, they now sit in that upper bracket. MnM and Falcons still have to battle it out to determine who goes where. The winner is going to be joining Sandbox. They're competing later this week, but the loser is going to be joining Fury in the lower bracket. They're competing later today. And the loser of that, unfortunately, will be going home. Now, this is an exciting match, to say the least. I'm looking forward to how this one's going to be playing out. As I mentioned earlier today, this was my favorite one, but I'm not going to be the one casting it. We do have some casters once again, Pengu and Intero this time around. Hi guys, welcome to the Major.
Thank you very much. We're making our debut here.
What a game to make your debut with. You guys are looking forward to it?
Are we the last casting duo to make our debut? I think so.
I think we might be.
I think so. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's the first time that we're going to see, you know, the Middle East compete. That's going to be great. We get to lend our voices to it, so.
Well, guys, lend your voices. Go ahead.
Well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, well, expectations in this matchup.
High.
For
both teams, to be fair, just for the game overall, because in the talent room between the casters, a lot of people said this might actually be the game of the day. And you might be like, who's MnM? Well, we all know who MnM are. They've been playing at like every major, invite, etc., whatever. Old story. But who are the Falcons? Well, they played a gamer state last year against BDS, and do you remember the scoreline in the finals? Best of 5?
I don't remember the score.
It was 0-3 for Falcons. However, they played 8-7, 8-7 against BDS. So this is a team from MENA that has a lot of potential, and a lot of teams in the Tier 1 professional play of Siege have been praising them in scrims as well. So it's fair to say, expectations for Team Falcons definitely high. But as you said, MnM, they've been getting better and better throughout the entirety of the last year. They also are not an easy task.
Wow, this is the first Tier 1 experience that we're going to see for Joker 619. By the way, I don't know if you frequent Reddit or if you value your time and sanity, but they love him.
I've heard so.
Joker 619. Apologies for the crashing, whatever that was back there. We have to know where we're going to go.
We do.
That's AKA the map Veto. Now, do you have any predictions? What maps do you think? Oh, well.
I don't. I mean, I'm going to predict Clubhouse.
How are you going to let them predict it when you just throw it up on the screen there for you?
Oh, so it's between... Okay, no. Okay, so Sky, Border, and Clubhouse, last room is available. Falcons, they ban the Skyscraper. MnM, they ban the Border. It's going to go Clubhouse, Clubhouse. I think this is not a... I know, don't want to say it's not a surprise. We know MnM can play this map. Falcon themselves, they haven't actually played this domestically in MENA for quite some time. They love one like the Chalet, the Border, etc. So, yeah, it's like I would say middle ground for both teams.
I mean, it's a map that, just in general, when you look at the adaptability that you see of teams on Clubhouse, there really isn't as much as you'd want. Things tend to be, especially that CCTV bomb site, tends to be quite routine. Same as you see the bottom floor bomb site. However, you watch the matchup with the Glass.
Oh my God.
The Glass and the Gridlock.
Yeah. We saw some strats earlier from Japan that was blowing our minds, to be honest. And Clubhouse, some people might say, oh, it's a very boring map, it's the same thing always happened, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's a stylistic choice.
I also think that I guess, I don't want to say resurgence, because it's not really a resurgence, even though like the old Clubhouse, it was the second bomb site before the rework, but Bar and Stage has suddenly become a relatively exciting bomb site, probably for 2 reasons. Number one is that there's a lot of different ways you can go about attacking it, whether you want to take from garage side and then stock, whether you want to take from main door, whether you want to go from strip or take the top floor above weight room. But also, we don't see it that often. And we've only been seeing it more and more as of late. And of course, as with all new maps and any new bomb sites that have suddenly become defendable or attackable, depending on what side you're on, it's always exciting because you don't see them all the time. We've seen that church basement defense on Clubhouse enough that I dream about it at this point.
Nightmares, actually.
Probably hundreds of hours casting that single bomb site. Bar Stage, not all that common, but still ticking upwards in terms of its play rate.
Yeah, and as you said, there's so many different ways to approach this. For all the bomb sites, we always talk about the Monty, the Capital, people playing the Maverick to counter the Walden Knife, like the Bandit, the Kaid, and the Mute, for example. And Clubhouse, We'll fly through the map right now, showcase some of the bomb sites perhaps that we spoke of, or the exterior of the map.
We're not really flying. We're more like we're like
hovering.
We're like ankle level right now.
We'll be flying. Wait, 1 second. We're gonna take off here, and we are flying inside the bathroom. We're in the ceiling.
Well, the first time that we are going to see them on an international stage at a Tier 1 level. They've already been playing, obviously, Tier 1 playing in MENA, but now international competition.
Yeah.
AKA not Gamers 8 that we saw last year. Oh my God, it was last year.
It was last year.
Good Lord,
yeah.
So long ago.
Time flies.
Falcons versus MnM Gaming. What are your expectations going in? You said they were high. You said expectations in general were high, but what do you think the outcome of this matchup could be? Let's speculate.
Quite frankly, I would love to see overtime because we have yet to see an overtime match at this event so far. And
you know we have to cast another best of 3 later.
I know we do, but if there was a match today to go the distance, I think this one definitely is deserving of that. And there we go. Things will start off. Falcons, very much known for banning out Dokkaebi, Nuke, and Kaid. That's their big 3. They have to target. They will start on the defense, which means they start off by banning the first attacking operator in this matchup, and they choose to remove Flores, completely different operator. All right, things are changed up here for the Major. Love to see that. Of course, when you get to this stage of play, you often look at your opponent and be like, okay, what can we remove from them that they love to bring every single round? And that might be Flores, that Falcons want to worry about, or MnM. They're going to remove that ace from action themselves.
I like the Flores ban an awful lot. Ace, obviously, very, very standard operator. It's going to be forcing, I would imagine, a lot more Hibana. Or teams can totally forego Hibana, and in that case, they're going to need to bring the secondary hard breach. So you're going to need to bring it on the Buck, you're going to need to bring it on a Ying, whoever you want, that is going to be available. Solus and Kaid banned out, no Azami ban. Their prevalence has been quite high.
Yes.
Yes, okay, great.
Yes. Very high indeed.
Terrific.
No, it's so Asami right now is actually sitting on like I think I read a stat from Jack on Twitter, like 94% like pick/ban rate if you combine the numbers. Basically, whenever she's not banned, she's basically almost always played.
Hey, would you look at that? Oh, kills is
there it is.
Not a shot.
In the first round. Now, when we look at Clubhouse, we often look at where a team's going to start on the bomb site setup. Because normally when we see, for example, Hibana being banned out, almost every team will go start in that base and bombs like we see right now. But with the bans being the Kaid and the Ace, it's like, okay, where do we start? And with both Falcons and MnM, they might have a different approach to this strategically. But Falcons, they'll start downstairs on the Compto floor, and they're either going to get pretty active on the map because they got the Oryx, they got the Lesion, they got the Alibi. This is not a conventional, let's all sit down on the bomb site and wait for something to happen. This screams, get upstairs, top floor, there it is. Deployable shield, rotation holes, etc. Active gameplay. Now MnM, they have the Blitz, so they managed to try and circumvent this entire room setup by going for a quick and dirty push, as we say, through third tunnel, through that main stairs area, or maybe, just maybe, Tyrant will take this Blitz up to that top floor and start hunting down the roamers one by one. Either way, I think the Blitz here is a phenomenal operator pick to try and make this a more difficult roam game for Falcons.
Seeing these shield operators' pick rates increasing time and time again. Blitz in particular was an operator who just wasn't really ever shown, and now all of a sudden, okay. Mad Skill's the first one to die from either of these teams. It's an altercation that happens by the main door on the first floor. Decides to test his luck against the Lion. Tyrant is in, and they can hear the shield coming. Look at all the space that Tyrant is making up. It's Valentino now holding down the fort. Confronting the Blitz. Oh my, Usus dies. Valentino is taken out by the Blitz. Now it's Joker roaming inside a lounge and back towards blue stairs. Spotted out. The Blitz upstairs. Continuing onwards. 1 minute off the clock. MnM's lost 1, Team Falcons lost 2.
Yeah, I mean, this is incredible value. I mean, the pace here from MnM, it's super quick and it's super effective. I mean, you get 2 kills, that's cost of 1, full top floor control, and because Tyrant on the Blitz is still alive, he can bring the Blitz downstairs, roam to the first floor. They can contest on any staircase or any entry. For example, on this blue staircase position, 1 member on the window, Blitz in the door, collapse together, isolate the member, sure, they trade 1 for 1, but it's another successful trade going in favor of MnM.
P9. Are you going to test your luck? Smoke at the bottom of blue stairs. Here the explosion's going off. That's the Hibana on the board in the hands of Nafe. So I'd speculate that we'd see the Hibana. No thermite present for a downstairs attack is something that is not entirely typical, especially if you want to pressure that church wall. Because of how early those first couple kills went, this sledge of Solotov has so much time to just take up space in the kitchen and just wreak havoc.
Attackers drop the diffuser.
Looking at attacker operators though, you have Sledge, Hibana, and Blitz. It's all the operators you'd want alive, right? You have smoke grenades, flash grenades, and frag grenades, soft breach, hard breach, and the Blitz shield in action. It's gonna make P9 and Okill's job a lot more difficult to do because isolating members now, a lot more difficult.
Okill's kept all those Kiva barriers in his back pocket so he could toss them out. All three of them are now gone, none remaining. That's 3 melees, that's it. I don't know if Tyrant's gonna be able to get underneath this or not. Oh! Nave taken down, but so is Okills, and guess who's in the middle of the site? It's the Blitz of Tyrant. P90 in a 1v2. Diffuser going down, Solotov to watch and cover. P90 can very easily pull this off. There he is! What? How does that work on the Blitz? Good Lord, Falcons winning round number 1.
How does it kill him? That's his shoulders exposed. I mean, every single pellet hitting its mark. And that means a 2v4, so a 2v3 essentially for Falcons. The roam was not successful. MnM looked like they were in full control. They hit the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3, second the roam clear, into the hard breach, into bomb site execution. The bomb site cover was even there for the Panther to go down, but P9 with this G11 so efficient, gets the injure and then the kill. There we see Tyrant and roam clear. Nobody Falcons really helping Joker here on Nelban Blue Stairs. Might have been a mistake, but doesn't matter. Because again, P9 with the clutch gets the round. Great start for them. And the opening rounds of, the first game of the major, in play-ins, etc., and in general, are always gonna feel very nice when you win that round, right? It kind of sets the pace, you start building that momentum, and you get really comfortable in your place. I mean, if you get a kill in the very first round of a Pro League match, I always used to say that is the best possible outcome ever. Because if you go 2 or 3 rounds, you don't really get a kill, maybe you die early, etc., you can get in your own head about your value as a player, not feeling comfortable in your gunfights. So if you go into the very first round, you get a kill and you're in the round, it is quite literally the best place to be mentally. And that right there is where Falcons will find themselves on 3 of their 5 players already. Tyrant, of course, had a phenomenal last round. One of the standout players for MnM as well. Now off the Blitz, onto Diana instead.
Lion getting brought. Second time in a row. Double hard breach on the board for MnM. This is a dedicated hold by Okills. Might test his luck now as he sees that CCTV wall opened up. Presence over by Cash is where he is. Attackers know that. He moved at the last second when the Lion charge was going off, and look at Okills in this position. They've baited them in. All right. This seems to be working out quite well for Falcons. That's 2 big picks.
Oh.
Solotov on the board. Looking for more. Tyrant's there to do some damage to Okills, and finally, Falcons have been flushed out of cash.
And all of a sudden, it goes from a big advantage to one team into a equalization where it's a 3 versus 3, but still half the round to go. And it seems like there's always going to be 2 very aggressive players from Falcons far off the bomb side with little to no help, and then 2 or 3 members playing very close to the side, playing off one another. But that means that MnM, they always tend to find these early kills and get ahead or get equal, and that's where the attackers they want to be. 3 versus 3 for this stream attack is not a bad position to be in. That second extra thermal charge gonna pop on the jacuzzi wall. The net is closing in on the remaining defenders of Team Falcons.
Joker will be watching that mirror window looking out to the jacuzzi balcony, which, as you said, had just been opened up. The one thing I like about Falcons that we don't see all that often, at least when you and I cast the North America League, is how aggressive this Falcons defense is. Yeah, it's a 3v3. It's not usual for them to take these engagements. Usually you'd want to play back, you'd want to play safe, wait for the attackers to get to you. Falcons don't want to do that. They want to set the tempo on defense. They were peeking construction. They peeked jacuzzi. They just peeked the window by power or by weight room. Was it a missed opportunity, by the way? Oh, he gets the Solotov's nade, blowing up Joker and P9. Mad Skills is the last one alive, and MnM will avenge that first round by getting on the board in round number 2.
That is a beautiful nade, and I mean, maybe they're playing so proactively because if you sit still for too long, those grenades, sometimes they're just a little bit too heat-seeking. That's the thing about Rainbow Six Siege right now. The meta, it's so dynamic. You can play a bunker-up style with like the Mira or Mai, the Jaeger, etc., and be very safe in your corners, or you can play, I guess I said, proactively on the move, like we see Falcons do, right? Where you play the Oryx, the Alibi, the Legion, etc., but there is a cost. And that is that the bomb site itself and those typically strong and reinforced corners of the bomb site, they aren't necessarily all that safe any longer. Now, Falcons will go straight back to the same bomb site with a very similar operator lineup. So this often tells us a story that something happened in that round that they don't think should have happened. Now, that may be the double grenade kill, it might be how they lost the 2 members after getting early kill advantage, it might be the extended Roman CCTV because no walls are reinforced, they're all soft. So many things, minor details, can be changed for Falcons that might actually swing this round in favor of them, even if MnM go for a similar attack. But with the attack or repicks from MnM, it's the same thing. Hibana, the Thermite, get the Thatcher to secure the breach going open. There are jammers on the walls, but when you play the Thermite, you can just repel on the exterior breach and circumvent that jammer entirely, and use it on the Thatcher, can save those EMPs for other things later in the round.
It would be nice to see how the execute would have unfolded had that nade not taken out 2 separate players from Falcons. I mean, they were bunched up in their position. I think one was intending the Jacuzzi breach, the other was looking at a play through construction, just in case you needed some insurance from last player. Was it Mad Skills that was in that position? I think it was, that was playing inside of construction. Either way, opportunities now to make some small changes and come out ahead in this round, but also the big sticking point for MnM that very nearly cost them the round was the first bit of action that ensued around Cash. They're going to likely be prepared for this. Now, just because you got some preparation doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be able to handle it, but at least you'll know what's coming.
Yeah, you can see the adaptation. 2 walls reinforced, deployable shield, a rotate. And the thing is, MnM, they recognize that and say, we don't really care about CCTV this time. It's too difficult to pick apart. They'll instead get the construction single wall, basically cut the roamers from the bomb site rotation and separate the defending team into 2 halves, and then try and go for a window, Jacuzzi breach, office hatch, maybe main stairs execute instead, and just say, we take the 4 versus 3 on site instead. See if it works.
It's a bit of a faster pace for these exothermic charges to go off, Nick. There's also a smoke. It does not allow P9 inside a bathroom to play off of this. It appears he's lost his mirror window as well, so very precarious position. It's going to be a nade from below from Tyrant, I'm assuming, with the position that he's in. There's another nade that will go from below, intended for Valentino. Still play inside of Logi. Down goes Uzis. P9 firing back. That was the player that they had not flushed out of that position in bathroom originally. Well, guess what? He's worked his way over to the weight room window.
That's the issue when you don't take CCTV. No one can play on the balcony for the windows, but the nades below doing so much work. Tyrant finds P9 full to trade a second nade onto Valentino. That's what MnM needs.
Depth charges, as we often refer to them, even though they are technically in the wrong direction. Depth charges usually, start up and then go down. They're unable to secure the kill on Valentino, so MnM will now still be looking for the kill. Instead, Falcons wanting these engagements, taking these fights head on. Mad Skills at peaked 1, peaks a second, loses his life. Solitov, the one to claim that kill. Advantage in favor of MnM, and it just continues to grow, as now it's Nello to get one. As the diffuser goes down, Oak kills, can't get into position. Nello says no thank you, but they trade out. Leaving Valentino inside of Logi still. He'd taken that damage earlier from the nade, been picked back up, but it's Solitov to end what little was left of him. MnM up 2-1.
And this is all about the adaptations. Basically, both teams making adaptations on their own side, then countering each other. Falcons said, okay, CC hold wasn't strong enough, wasn't good enough. Let that put more resources, get that deployable shield, and they do that. But the minute they go, we recognize that you want us to now attack CCTV again because it's stronger for you. We're gonna do the complete opposite and go for that main stairs, Jacuzzi breach, and then downstairs with 2 sets of grenades. And because they find a kill and an injure, they actually find enough value from downstairs to leverage the execute going in their favor because the members of the defense are so weak. So we are going to have a quick rehost before getting back into action. But as we always say, the players these days are so formidable and so quick at rejoining that server, will only be postponing for a brief moment.
Yeah, we'll be back in the action very, very quickly. Defense, I think, can work a little bit better for Falcons here, but I am more interested to see how they tackle being on attack. Because on defense, it's very obvious that they want to take fights as frequently as possible. Even in that last round, they were still peaking fairly aggressively. So what do you do on attack? Do you decide to be as aggro as humanly possible? I mean, it's a viable strategy, I suppose. But for teams that might not have the most experience, attacking is typically more challenging against better opponents.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying that the Middle East, North Africa region is weak, but I think a team of MnM who have plenty of international competition and experience, or maybe a bit more practice than the teams that Falcons are used to playing against. How do you handle them on defense? That's the real question.
No, it's a great question at that. And generally when we talk about how it's more difficult to attack against better teams, it comes down to the fact that the better a team is at defending, or the better a team is, period, Rainbow Six Siege, there are just less and less gaps to exploit when you're playing against them. If a team is defending a bomb site and they're not covering an important position, or maybe they don't have a C4 or deny a plant, or they're playing a weak set of operators or whatever, if you then are a good team at attacking, you can find those gaps or those mistakes, exploit them to your advantage, and then, win rounds because of that. The higher skill level you go to, the smaller and less frequent those gaps will become, and that's why attacking becomes just more and more difficult. It's also why we often see teams who have to brute force their way in through a bomb site or through a doorway, just trying to go for broke, try and get, trade a kill 1 for 1 or 2 for 2, and just make something happen. Because sometimes you just don't have the answers.
It's kind of hard to pinpoint on all three of these rounds so far where any glaring mistakes have happened. I mean, obviously bunching up for the double nade is not ideal.
Unlucky.
But some teams have much greater proficiency when it comes to these nades. MnM obviously showing off their skills. Was it 3 nade kills and 1 down so far through 3 rounds? Is actually quite impressive. These are early rounds, but you have to suspect that Falcons are now going to be aware of that nade play and will likely be a bit more mobile, hopefully. P9 thought he was mobile enough, but no.
I mean, he had a great start to the round, and then he too got found.
Yeah. No, he was extremely effective inside of that bathroom, holding down that position. He ate an entire smoke. He forced the attackers to throw out a smoke to keep him in that position so that he couldn't swing the jacuzzi breach. Also, that smoke not just stops the defender from being able to play off of it, but also can conceal your movement if you get into the actual bomb site, which is not the case. Get into weight room. The Kiva barrier goes up to plug the black mirror that was destroyed by the hard destruction. P9 moves back around to weight room, gets the pick on top of strip club roof, looking through that weight room window, still holds onto that position, and if it wasn't for the nade from below, he could have done some serious damage to stop somebody from hopping in that bedroom window or also going for a diffuser plant down inside of gym.
Yeah, and also worth noting that there was a change, actually 2 changes to the grenades from below that occurred about 6 months or so ago at this point, where they actually got double nerfed, where the damage distance drop-off of a grenade got reduced. What that means is the nade now has to be even closer to an enemy to do the same amount of damage as previously. Plus, we've seen multiple operators get changed around in their armor types and speed types, so they have more health in general. Getting a grenade kill from below basically means if the defender is full health, you have to land it between their feet or in between their toes to take them out. And MnM, they did that, as you said, Park, what, 3.5 times in 3 rounds, essentially? That is some pinpoint accuracy. Some of those, of course, you have yellow pings, information with drones, etc. Some of them is good guesswork or working off in-game audio sound cues, of course. Either way, it's great utilization of the dynamic maps of Rainbow Six Siege, where you can attack a bomb site quite literally from below or from above the bomb site because of that self-destruction and because of that verticality.
Yep. Almost all the players are back in the lobby. But a relatively quick day. We're on a rolling schedule. We were supposed to go live at 4 p.m. We went live a little bit before that.
Yep, shortly before.
Which is actually crazy that we're keeping to the schedule despite most of these maps being quite lopsided.
Yeah. It's been relatively quick most of the games so far.
Saying goodbye to 2 teams later today as well.
Yep. Every day, or at least day 1, day 2, we think about two. Are we thinking about the 2 teams every day? We must be, right? Yeah, because we're going through the groups, yeah. How sad is that?
It's very sad.
It is very sad.
I mean, imagine flying out here, being prepared, and then you basically get to play for a couple hours, and that's it.
Yeah, I will say though, because we're seeing so many quote-unquote like new teams here that we haven't seen at international events before, there are a lot of fans amongst the professional scene right now, like players who are fans of other players, walking up, asking for photos, autographs, hi, etc. I mean, there are people coming from APAC, from MnM, etc., who have never met these other professional players that they might have looked up to for many years or watched their games for inspiration before, you know, they became Tier 1 players themselves. And I've seen so much wholesomeness from these players the last day and a half. It's been wonderful. It takes me back. What also takes us back? It's gonna be Falcons. Back to the first bomb site downstairs in the basement with that same operator lineup. The dynamic one, the Lesion, the Alibi, the Oryx, get upstairs, get active on the roam. And that's gonna prompt them to do some attack or repick shenanigans here. They, you know, Tyrant on the Blitz last time for the roam clear, that the Lion. Now they're going for a Nurk, Dokkaebi, and the Ying. So they both got the backstab, they got the roam clear, they got the bombs that execute. And MnM, they're bringing a primary Harbridge of Knave on the Hibana, but they're also bringing in 2 sets of secondary Harbridge destruction on both the Bok and the Ying. So now they can risk losing a member and still get all the hatches opened up.
Nicholas, remind me when we were talking about the ace ban, what I said was a suitable alternative that we would likely see more of.
You said Bok and the Ying.
Wow.
And they brought both.
That's crazy, isn't it?
The longer we cast together, the more I get to the point where you should become a coach and you say, I can't be a coach. And look, that's a great play.
That was an excellent entry by Solitov. Walks in, down goes O'Kills. He knew that he was coming, to be fair. At least had an idea that this was something that MnM would do. Punch out a certain small portion of that door. You can go in without the entirety of the door breaking. And then, of course, there's almost no greater operator in the game to do that with than
No, there really isn't. They also spent one of the calls from Dokkaebi to kind of help Solotov get that kill too with the sound cue. And so they strike in first, they fall back around. Now they're gonna go top 4 instead. Valentino gets a kill back onto Solotov to even back the numbers to 4 versus 4.
Candela's going off. Right now, there's no real targets that it's getting hit. They just used all those Candelas, and it's for naught. I mean, Valentino is able to get away with a tiny bit of HP as the rest of the team drops back down to the bomb site as the logic bombs ring out.
Okay. So
it's in pursuit, can't find anything.
Essentially, they trade utility for map control, which, I mean, it's almost like a handshake deal between both teams going, okay, we will do this, but then Matt skills, he goes for a cheeky swing.
Cheeky swing has been what Falcons have done every round, though, Nick. This is something that we keep seeing time and time again. They want to take these fights. And some of the times it works, but more often than not, MnM have been punishing them.
Yeah, and when you spend all your Candelas and you don't have smokes on the Ying, you want these kills to be happening because you just say, yeah, thank you very much, Matt skills, that's 1 member off the board. Valentino, 1 point of HP left as well. 1 bullet will take him out. You sneeze on this guy, he's injured. And MnM, they get that 1-man advantage. Now, Kitchen Hatch got open on up. They got the Hibana, second their Harbridge, but they don't have any Candelas. So Knave on the Hibana has 3 flashbangs. That's the only real execute enabling utility they have for this push to come.
There's some very valuable information now from the drones in the final 30 seconds. It's an extremely loud drone. I don't know why. Toxic gas going off underneath the hatch of the kitchen, and there's a very quick push up from the smoke, but nobody can capitalize off it on the side of MnM. A logic bomb will go off. Down goes Nello. P9 with that sidearm, putting in some good work. Uses as a sidearm of his own. Takes out the smoke. Flash goes off. Valentino still on a point of HP. Diffuser in the hands of Knave. He's dropped. Gets the Gumine out. Is he going to have time to get the diffuser down? Yes, he does. Uses will need to cover, but he's dropped off. And that's it for the plant. The timer will give it to Falcons as they reduce MnM to just a single player.
Yeah, I mean, the pace there from MnM just not quick enough. I mean, sure, the Gumine slowed it down by about a 1.5 to 2 seconds, but that's not even the bigger problem. After pulling out the Goo and starting the plan attempt, they still just have 0 seconds left on the clock. A great attempt, but again, Falcons, they always pressure MnM on all their entry points, even when they're down in numbers. They still fight. Smoke, sprinting from third into below that kitchen hatch. He gets spotted out. He still sticks around, gets 2 kills combined in that round, brings it back to a 2v2, and then things they play out from there. The Falcons, they're gonna go through this and try something new. It's not gonna be bar. It's going to be that CCTV bomb site that we don't see very commonly. And the first thing we have to look at here from the orbital lineup is going to be, is there a Bandit and a Sami, a Wamai, and a Jaeger? The reason why I say this is because if you play like a Sami, Wamai, and Jaeger, the catwalk rafters where Metzger's reinforcing right now, so incredibly easy to hold as a defending team. Or rather, should I rephrase, very difficult to attack against. If there's a Bandit, well, you can Bandit trick the CCTV wall. That's gonna stop the attackers or slow them down from getting the first objective, which is to get the wall opened up. Now there will be a mute, P9, he'll put that on there, and then he knows that from MnM. He's gonna attack and repeat the thermite, he can now repel on the wall, open it up for free, and not have to waste time or resources getting that opened up. But MnM, either way, whether they go for a garage attack or a master bedroom construction attack, Falcons, they're everywhere. So they'll contest on both sides. See Q-Bearers going out to ground some protection. That's going to help them extend out for this roam or master bedroom.
P9 has been easily the most impressive player in my eyes on the Falcons so far.
Yes.
Good utility work. We highlighted his play on mute on that last gym defense, but always seemingly being in the right place at the right time to get very impactful kills, whether it be during the beginning of an execute, whether it be at the end. I'm playing a lot of these SAS operators. This is their first EE1D, and the top of gym has now been taken control of by MnM. Looks like Falcons have scooted back over towards construction and cash. Maybe get themselves in a little bit closer to the site.
Yep. I mean, that's the first minute off the clock. Tyre and MnM, they're making a little bit of progress on both sides with the master bedroom entry, but not a whole lot of support. There's a Jordan at his feet, so he knows the master bedroom, bathroom, and office is clear, but what's going to lurk inside the construction? He'll find out in just a second. Well, it's a reinforced wall, and we know, because of silhouettes, that there are no enemies in there from Team Falcons. They're all run back to the bomb site itself.
Very quick that MnM wants to get in, and Madskill's almost losing his head.
Oh.
Swung, Valentino taking down Solotov. That didn't work out so well. You had a grenade in hand, you got caught. O-Kill's first one to die from Falcons. Naif walking in with impunity. Type 89 runs through bullets in a hurry, but it also reduces your HP very, very quickly. He's waiting for the right call inside a cache to try to bait them.
Yeah.
We'll be joining construction by Usis, and now opening up a smaller portion into the actual cache site.
You see how much respect MnM is paying to the possibility of a swing, because Naif did not want to even risk opening up that wall in fear of someone swinging out and just taking him out. So he waits for users to rotate on the line to hold the door. Oh, wait a second.
Was that a jump out by the warden?
It's Nade. Does he know? Nah.
No, it's in the wrong direction. After having so much success, it's a swing and a miss on 2 nades now for MnM, as they lucked out a little bit earlier, previous rounds. There's a window swing on the warden. Valentino had been itching for a fight over there for so long, and Usis just could have yet another. But look at how many there are. They're all looking in the same direction. Falcons sweeping through MnM. Nello taking down P9. It's a 2v2, 10 seconds left. Tyrant's in the sight. Down goes no. Joker gets the last 2. MnM taking a timeout after losing 2 in a row, and Falcons cannot lose the first half. They've put up 3 rounds through 5 so far.
Yeah, and the big question mark is going to go back to what you said, Parker. How will Falcons do on the attack? Because their final defense is coming up, round number 6. MnM, right before that happens, they will take a tactical timeout to figure out what the issues are. We see Falcons always go for swings, always applying pressure, always keeping things tense. MnM, they recognize and they respect it. But even though they know and they expect this to happen, they still falter in the late round to those exact swings. I mean, you have users on the line, CCTV window, get swung by 3 different members in the span of 5 seconds. And of course, he gets shut down eventually. I mean, he gets the first kill, nice shot. But then you have 2 members swinging and swinging and swinging, and sure, they trade back to a 2v2 from Nello. But then again, what does Joker do? He leaves Catwalk, the strongest position on the bomb site, to swing the gun and repel. Like, what? It's hard to predict, it's hard to play against, and it's really working out for Falcons, and it's catching them off guard time and time again.
Swing or be swung?
Swing or be swung.
The eternal conundrum. Do you swing or do you get swung?
Let me tell you this.
Are you a swinger?
If you can choose whether you want to swing or be swung, you want to be the one to swing, okay? Listen, that's how you want to approach this more often than not.
There's nothing wrong with being a swinger.
There's nothing wrong with being a swinger.
And there's nothing wrong with being swung.
Well, actually.
If you die.
Yeah, if you die.
Obviously, that's not ideal.
No, it's not. I mean, I know what I would do. If I was MnM, I would be the guy to pick Monty in attack and Clash in defense and say, I'm not gonna get swung, and die from it at least. And I'd be like, I'm safe. And honestly, Tyrant playing Blitz in the opening round on that base and roam clear worked very well. I am surprised that we're not seeing Nello himself go onto the Monty to kind of spice things up and change the approach, because right now MnM, they're kind of showing Falcons the same thing with a slight variation every round, right? They're gonna go for a roam clear over or direct side execute with the same couple operators. Sure, now they got the nuke, they can creep around, they had a Ying for individual round, but look at this! Valentino just swings the window and now uses his dead. You take your time out, you talk things through, you go, oh guys, we gotta do this better, gotta fix that. What happens in 20 seconds? You get spawn peaked.
Swing?
Or be swung.
Or be swung. The answer to that question, Usus learned about firsthand.
Yeah, definitely. Now, losing the... Oh, there's no one here, right?
No, there's somebody in church.
Oh.
Joker. He's like Legion. With 2 goo mines in pockets, sitting behind that little cubby inside a church.
They must know. I mean, you're not waiting here if you don't know. Roam clear being progressed as well. Falcons, with that early pick, they actually fall off their extended roam because they recognize that they've already built that advantage that they're seeking. They can now play near the bomb site, wait for that flank from Joker. He has 2 impact grenades in pocket as well. Can open up different avenues back to the bomb site for himself. Still lingering downstairs.
Well, this call is made for that he knows that somebody's there, maybe a drone.
Attackers have located a bomb.
The Legion's all the way back up top. Valentino taking up place on that main floor. Has impacts, not a nitro cell, so this isn't necessarily going to be a play for a post plant, but he'll get coaxed out right into the waiting arms of Tyrant. And it looked like Valentino was aware of somebody in that position. He shot some bullets before Tyrant moves on elsewhere. 1 minute and 15 seconds left.
But it has cost him quite a lot of resource because Tyrant, he was downstairs and they lost users early. That means only 3 members, Solotov, Nello, and Nath, could progress the opposite area. There's only a minute left on the clock now, and MnM, they've just found themselves in that 4v4. And what do you know? Who's gonna swing? It's gonna be P9 on those windows. And he gets away with his life intact, but getting chipped away pretty quickly.
It's the same spot, or at least similar spot that P9 was in before when that nade from below took him out of action. There's still 4 grenades in the hands of MnM. 2 for Solotov, 2 for Tyrant. Where are they going to go? First one tossed in by Solotov. No luck for that double nade landing in the same spot. P9 takes down Nate, but P9 himself is dispatched by Nellos, trading back and forth. Tyrant might be able to get in behind enemy lines. Have they droned him out? Do they know where he is? No, he's still just holding this position inside of construction, but he'll pull the pin out of the nade and takes some damage from Logi and blows himself up. An unideal set of circumstances. The advantage goes to Falcons in this 3v2. Nello trapped inside a bathroom, but Solotov is making short work of them. Mad Skills can play keep away, but Solotov doesn't have any time to find him. An impressive first half as Falcons take it 4-2.
A great attempt for MnM and for Solotov in particular, but he was stuck in a goo mine, had to vault in the window. He gets 2 kills, but Mad Skills, Falcons, they played smart. They recognize again that time is running so low. Just sit back on top main stairs. They have to swing from a single doorway. If not, timer hits 0. They're guaranteed the round, and they get away in that 4-2 scoreline advantage. But now things will change up. Now Falcons will have to go on the attack, and it's much more difficult to force gunfights when you're on the attack inside. You can't just walk into bomb side or not have to breach open the walls. You have to play the utility game more often than not. So Falcons, they've shown us one style of siege that they excel at, but now they have to convince us on the other side, figuring out what the setup is going to be, pick it apart correctly, and then win those rounds on the attack.
We speculated on this, about the way that Falcons were playing. After the rehost, Falcons have gone 3-0 It's been a very impressive run for them so far. MnM looked like they were able to match the aggression of Falcons through those first 3 rounds quite well. And Falcons, in a lot of ways, were making those peaks, and then we turn around and we say, oh, well, you know, this wasn't a very ideal way to do it. Falcons obviously decided to change our minds through rounds 4, 5, and 6, winning them all largely on the backs of them peaking when you weren't expecting them to. It caught MnM off guard, surely, and MnM used their timeout. Unsuccessful, at least in the immediate.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a long-term reward, but not immediately at least. And operator lineup. Sorry, let's go bomb site first. Both teams start basement, but very different set of operators being brought from both sides. MnM go for that bunker down style, the Wamai, the Asami, the Warden, they mute the smoke, etc. This heavily speaks to the bomb site is what they care about. Falcons, they have recognized that pretty effectively because they too have been bringing anti-bomb site operators. The Capital, right? The double hot breacher or secondary hot breach plus primary hot breachers. They have ways to deal with the execute and stage 3 of this round when they get there. So stage 1, gonna be the roam clear. They've done so very quickly with 2 minutes to go. Step 2, open up all the hatches and kind of recognize where do you want to be attacking from. It's gonna be, you know, Moto or church attack, dirt, blue hatch, etc. And then step 3, of course, is going to be the execute itself. When they go down that hatch, they drop, things get very chaotic, and they try and get that diffuser down. Dirt's actually soft as well, so Falcons, they have every single route leading to the bomb site open at their disposal. They just gotta choose which one they want to go through or which one is most likely to work out for them.
We start on this very comfortable, very familiar bomb site. Lineup includes a Capital with LMG, not something you see every day.
No.
Certainly not.
It's been a while since the LMG meta.
I can't remember the last time I saw that gun. The pair is in a good spot right now, and also the newest operator, Brava, has the pair of 2. Some familial connection, I believe.
Yeah. They're smart.
If you follow the lore. Nice smoke. A second one will go off as well. Joker, the very first pick on the Solotov. There goes the Amai, but MnM answer back. Joker's only good enough for a single kill. Mad skills with 35 seconds to go. Getting diffuser down, but Nave sees it. Takes him out. P9 trying to get into position, scrambling to do so. Unsuccessful in stopping the plan, and now from the pulse wall, down he goes to Tyrant. Users and Tyrant both fall, as it's an absolute bloodbath between these teams, with MnM coming out ahead. Leaving it all up to O-Kills.
15 seconds left.
Wandering into the bomb site, retrieving the diffuser, and will now attempt a plant of his own.
10 seconds to go.
He's scared off of it. Both Nello and Nafe are aware of his position, and it's up to Nafe to do it, but you can just let the clock do most of the work for you. Nello gets the kill. That's MnM taking their very first defense.
Yeah, it was a great attempt for Falcons. They opted for that pillar plant in that long corridor from bottom main stairs. The Capital smokes, they obscure the vision, they distract, they drop things, they get messy. But there was one part of MnM that really favored them. They have a Warden. They can see through smokes, they can see through flashbangs, they shut down the plant. And I have to say, Falcons, while the execute happened very early, the plant follow-up from Mad Skills was actually quite delayed. I mean, the smokes almost had faded away from the Capital by the time they started the initial plant execute. So I'm not sure if there was a issue with the wall not being open correctly, and Matsko wasn't in the right position and ready to go when the call came out or whatever. But either way, MnM, they do a great job at shutting it down, and it is because MnM, they said, we're gonna opt that bomb side style of defense, where they play those bomb side operators. If they had played like the Alibi, the Legion, the Oryx, like Falcons did, and they had roamed early on, that execute, if it had came down to it, likely wouldn't have gone the same way because of those operator style choices.
10 seconds. 5 seconds.
God, that blitz played in round number 1 feels like it was ages ago at this point.
Bring it back. Run it back one more time. I mean, different team, but still.
Yeah.
I do love seeing it. Anything that's like fast, chaotic, like we saw some Glass Gridlock play earlier today from some of the APAC teams. We saw a Blitz now from MnM.
I love seeing it when it works.
Yeah.
Because we'll see like a Gridlock show up, you know, we'll see like a Monty show up, we'll see like a Sen show up, and then they die early and you don't ever see any value from it. And you're like, okay, well, that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah. That's valid. I mean, even if you don't win the round necessarily, but like there is a strat, you see what happens, you see the idea behind it, that alone is cool enough for me to be happy. Early round now from Falcons on a gym attack. And things they have really changed here. Falcons, of course, being very quick to the punch on the defensive side. They're actually taking their time on attack to go through all their steps, not get caught off guard. We can see a Joker here paying so much respect to the possibility of a member from MnM holding an angle from green box, from down inside the basement of pit, etc. And they just don't want to lose early members to something silly by not checking their corners.
Very first Lion call will go out. Doesn't seem to get all that much, but the drone will gain some information as to MnM's position inside a cache. Odds are this nade works. No, I mean, it's close.
Okay.
Does a chunk of Tyrant's HP, but he can still exist. They're expecting a potential play over by Garage. There's a late flank from Nafe. Half of the round to go. What noise can he do? What damage can he do? Because Joker's now inside a Garage, but Nafe might have missed his opportunity.
I mean, he can still go for the flank if he wants to, but I'm seeing Solotov was on cameras earlier, Default and Valkyrie. Oh, look at the timing. He climbs the ladder. Valentino almost swings the window. Oh, he knows!
He sees him. Nafe is not happy about that one whatsoever.
That's one of those, if Nafe, you know, doesn't get spot out there, the damage he can do on the flank is ridiculously high, but instead he becomes a free kill for Valentino. Now Falcons, they're right next to the bomb site walls in a man advantage. That's exactly where they want to be. They got smokes in pocket, they got flashbangs to go, they're in a great position.
Yeah, for MnM, you lost a lot of map control. You're basically barricaded inside of the site at this point.
Yeah.
Lost construction. Looked like you might be about to lose logistics, but one of those smoke canisters go out. Those gas canisters from Solotov uses, fires back. Down goes Joker. He finds a second onto Valentino. Holy smokes. MnM just making quick work of them as they walk right in. Mad skills through Logi. Inside of the closet, but it's Usis up at the top, watching by the main stairs. O kills out on the balcony.
10 seconds left.
Not O kills, 2 kills to his name, actually. Can he add to that? No, he can't. A 4K from Usis, as that coincides with the 4th round for MnM.
Uses quite literally playing the exact same style of Siege as Falcons was playing against him. The moment they get comfortable near the bomb site where they might go for an execute, he will swing into them and say, you know what, I'm not gonna let you, I'm gonna aggress first. He finds 4 kills in the round, front, back, left, right, and center. We saw there was indeed a yellow ping on Nafe, flanking in Garage. Falcons, they take that time early on to establish the drone network, the safe entry into the building, and they get to the bomb site with as many people alive as humanly possible, but there's Uses. So he'll take the one out later on instead. We saw Bandit being played last round by Nello on that gym defense. Wasn't needed whatsoever. He was on that jacuzzi wall, I believe. And they will bring the same operator on a different player of Uses this time on CCTV. Now, in a Tier 1 game of Siege, when we see a bandit, we don't typically go, oh, you know, this bandit's gonna completely stop them from breaching the walls because bandit can just completely, you know, remove any option. No, the bandit is more like you're gonna slow down the enemy, make it more difficult for them, and make them burn resources. Like, go downstairs, where now? There's a mirror window. There, oh my god, this strat is like from 4 years ago. There's castle barricades downstairs, the mirror leading to Garage. So, if they wanna go downstairs for Falcons to remove the bandit from play vertically, they gotta deal with a whole second setup downstairs first. They can also try and take the caps off P9, go on that CCTV window, toss a firebolt on in, denying him from tricking the wall, and then toss an EMP in the wall. The thing is, they don't have any EMPs. So as long as Uses has pre-placed 1 or 2 of those batteries, it's going to be very difficult for Falcons to make progress on this CCTV breach wall.
It's a pocket Black Mirror going out there. And,
hey,
all right, that's fascinating. I mean, you immediately punch it. Okay, I mean, bravo, but now look at this. You've opened it up. This works both ways.
Yeah. They can now impact trick through it as well. It's gonna be Tyrant with those impacts in pocket.
There goes an nade tossed on in, an upside down exothermic charge.
Yeah, here comes. Yep, impact from Catwalk.
Obviously not too happy about that as Valentino Joker 619 all the while, testing his luck. Oh. Wow, 2 immediately fall for him, and have a 3rd as well for Joker. That's his 2nd. 3 on the board. Nello swinging desperately towards the breach that's now been opened up. Falcons look like they'd had their wings clipped, but suddenly they're flying again. Solitov, a nice pick onto Joker, but he's got 3 more bodies to be found. Oh, he gets another. 2 more for Solitov, but that's it. The LMG in the hands of P9 is a little bit too much. 5 rounds for Falcons.
I'm not gonna lie, I honestly think that MnM, they were trying to overcomplicate the process. If your catwalk player for my Tyrant is your most important player on the map because, you know, the catwalk rafter is a crucial spot to hold as a defender. He's also your impact denier on the main breach, and we saw it. He died trying to throw his 2nd impact grenade out to help his teammate not get the, or to help his teammate secure that breach. But he dies for it. They lose carriage control, and things just speed up from there from Falcons. Joker found the 2nd, Joker found the 3rd as well, and then things could get really dire. A great attempt of a clutch for Solitov, but you gotta retake up a staircase. That's not gonna work out. And MnM, they had the bandit, and there was no EMPs for Falcons. They didn't have any easy way to clear out that bandit position whatsoever. They couldn't nade below. We saw there was castle barricades, the mirror window. Capital wasn't on the CCTV window. I honestly think that could have been as simple for MnM as uses, simply just bandit tricking. No mirror window on the breach, no like weird impact tricking, etc. Just a good old simple bandit, see what Falcons will do, and then you adjust mid-round. We never really saw what Falcons had in store or in their minds to try and deal with bandit. We never got there, frankly. Falcons down the lead, and we raised the questions. Yeah, they can play a dynamic defense, they can play in your face, you know, control the pace and momentum, but how will they play attack? Completely opposite. Very structured, relatively slow, and they just, again, they have a checklist and they go through it. Do we have the flank drone? Check. Do we have the main breach? Check. When we get the breach, what are we gonna do? Okay, we're gonna do this. Everyone be ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, check, go. That has been very impressive so far from Falcons in their debut game here at the Copenhagen Major.
Impressive is a great way of talking about it. Not that any of the teams that are at this event didn't deserve to be here. I mean, you don't walk into this event thinking that you're going to go out after only winning, you know, 5 rounds, 6 rounds, etc., or even just winning a single map in the best of 3. For those that followed the games earlier, you saw that Fury lost to Sandbox. The loser of this match goes up against Fury. You and I are actually going to be casting that later today.
Yes, that is correct.
The Thai team of Fury. Will they go up against the EU squad of MnM or the Saudi Arabian squad of Falcons? That's the question. Right now, Falcons really well positioned. They went on that 3-round run tail end of the first half. Forfeited their first 2 attacks to MnM on defense before getting on the board. Falcons still have their timeout in back pocket as well.
Solitov is solo roaming top floor at Castle, running away from office because that's where the Falcons' focus is. They want to get that kitchen edge opened up. So they open the office hatch, they toss out a grenade, and now those 6 Kyros will go out, open the hatch, and it looks like a relatively limited attack. I mean, right now all they really have is oh no, Joker is in garage as well, so they actually have full map control pretty much. Blue stairs control, first floor, etc. They just have missed Solitov upstairs inside a gym bedroom. Besides that, they have full map control, but do they know he's roaming? That's the big question in my mind, because Solitov, he's looking for a play down the main stairs now. He might catch 1 or 2 members actually. Yep, that's the first.
He does. P9. Not without taking some damage in the process, and the remainder of him is easily handled by Valentino above. So you get a pick, but you don't really gain all that much for it.
That's now we see the bandit trick in action. Now, there's not many walls you can easily bandit trick, but the Church 1 basement Clubhouse is one of them. There's no verticality, you can try and chuck a nade above, but it's difficult, so instead Joker will walk down the blue stairs and look for kills.
Valentino is just soldiering onward, finding his 2nd pick, and Joker's patience where it pays off on Naif. Falcons in a 4v2 looking to move to match point. An impressive place for them to be. 15 seconds. They've got 4 bodies to throw at this. Nello dealing with some issues inside a dirt tunnel. Down goes O-Kills to Tyrant. Nello finished off, leaving just Tyrant. Can he deal with them? He does a whole lot of damage. Looking for more, but he can't stop the diffuser from being planted. He's reduced Joker to basically nothing. Tyrant needs a hero play. Creeping up. There's a flash, not blinded, another one tossed out. This one finally gets him, so that's time to waste. Nobody from Falcons aggressing at this point, waiting patiently. Tyra getting ever closer, gives his position away, and it's Joker to send Falcons to match point.
The discipline in the 2v1, the crossfire, the flashbangs going out, and both teams there just waiting for someone else to make the first move. But Falcons, they show us they can just wait. They recognize they are in the favorable position, burn down that clock. There was 20 seconds to go. It's a 7-second diffuser. They have to act soon. Match point, and MnM maybe a little bit shocked with the outcome here. Not what they want, not what they expected, but it's what they've been given. Now, MnM, if they want to have a shot at winning this match, they need to take us to the first overtime series or map of this event so far. We saw the kills here from the replay highlights. Joker set up blue, just crushing the competition.
Saying that P9 was the most impressive player for me on defense. Well, how things have changed now with it being Joker 619. Maybe the Redditors were right.
I was gonna say, maybe Reddit knows a thing or two. Sometimes.
Maybe those Redditors were on to something.
Sometimes. Not always.
Not always.
Camera ready to activate.
Would you look at that? Is that going to be... Nope, it's basement.
Did you think it was...
I thought it was bar for a second. Bar stays. I was like, we're gonna get all 4 bomb sites. Let's go.
We're not.
Oh, we're not. Not yet.
We're not getting all of them.
We'll still go there.
It's possible. Though I don't know how good of an idea it would be. Should MnM win this round and we go all 12 rounds, MnM would then go to bar stage, presumably to go to overtime. I don't know if that is necessarily the smartest idea for a site that doesn't have a lot of play.
I will
0 plays so far.
I will say Berlin Major, Grand Finals,
all right,
Rogue against FaZe. Final round on the 5th map. Koi / Rogue back then, called Rogue. They go bar defense. You know what? They win. So if MnM, they want to, you know, capture some of that European energy vibe when it matters the most, bar has a pretty good story from just 6 months ago.
Bomb located by attacker.
IQ being brought now, so a different kind of operator to shut down the intel game of the defending team, but there's not a whole lot of intel to gather, really. No Valkyrie on the board. Of course, Solus is banned out. You can look for the my disc and the mute jammers. Maybe if Warden pops his gadget, but that's really it. So, like, relatively low value, but it's a safe choice. Let's say there was a Valkyrie on the board for the MnM. You know, you gotta worry about the C4s vertically, the Valkyrie cameras, etc. Valentino so often finds himself in those opening duels, and he does so successfully. Once again, he too is sitting on 9 kills and 6 deaths, and that's gonna be Solotov on Romai, off the board, on match point. MnM already down a member.
Not exactly where you want to be. Solotov has been able to take over certain rounds. 4 of those 7 kills that we see coming in a single round. Very impressively done. Gave MnM the edge in that one. Even though Valentino is taking a lot of damage, it seems to be the story for him in this matchup is that he gets quite a bit done to him, but he still continues on. Use both of his hard breaches as well.
Big question for me is MnM. Are they going to walk forward and seek these engagements and try and leverage back the numbers, or will they just simply let them execute, maybe flop in the midst of the chaos? That's the big question. They have 3 Toxic Babes, they have 2 C4s. MnM, they want to play for plant deny, but I don't know if that's the right call right now, given how quick Falcons are, but never mind. Tyrant, he finds the kill they need.
The one thing I will say about this MnM team is that they are never out of the engagements. It's just a matter of how the engagements are being taken. They've now lost Uzis as well, and Uzis and Solotov long holding that distinction of being 2 of the most reliable players on this team. Down goes Joker to Nafe. A 3v3, but Nafe took a lot of damage in the process. A single bullet from any of these guns will take him out of action. He's sitting pretty for the time being. Falcons could get their very first win in an international competition, but they have very little time to work with. This is going to be a tense round. Remainder of Valentino is found. Down he goes. Falcons need to hurry. They need to find something. They're in the sight. Suddenly they've reduced it to just Tyrant, who can stop the plant. Can he get there? No. Yes, he can. Through the openings that were created by Falcons themselves, MnM get the diffuser in before it gets planted, and we are going to all 12 rounds.
Oh, it is so difficult to make the right decision where to plant because you don't know where the last defender is going to be coming from. It's so chaotic. It's, you know, 3 kills going out in the span of 2, 3, 4 seconds, etc. And then you have only 2 seconds left on the clock. Gotta sprint to the first corner you see, establish that diffuser to be started. But what happens? Well, the flank is there. Wall is breached open. We saw the outcome of that round. That's gonna take us to 7-5. It's still in favor for Falcons, of course. Then we see the opening kill from Valentino, a great swing all the way to Church from Blue Staircase, and then another great shot from Tyrant. Look at this, the C4 toss into peak, and he picks it back up. Bit of a shame because Nave never got to use it later in the round, and we see it here. Plant position was unfortunately just wrong from Mad Skills. Gambled incorrectly, 50-50 on that one. All the way upstairs to go, no bar from MnM. They want to take us to overtime by playing the stable 3 bomb sites. And it's kind of weird to say that because CCTV is not necessarily a stable bomb site, but they also lost it, so it kind of fits the scheme here.
5 seconds to insert.
CC gets played, but it doesn't necessarily always see success.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
There's a number of ways that we've seen this bomb site get played so far today by these different teams. This bathroom setup looking quite standard. Instead of it being a mute in that position, though, it's the Azami. Single panel reinforced in bathroom with the black mirror on it. Drone hole blocked off by the Kiba barrier. Goyo shield put up, or Goyo canister rather. Old habits die hard on that one. Goyo canister put up on the wall. Spotted out as well, another by Red Stairs.
Oh. I like this momentum. I mean, so this is kind of like, they recognize Falcons are low on time. They bring out the Goyo. And now, you know, you pop a canister, you gotta wait 20 seconds before they can progress in that area of the map. And Falcons, this is one of their slowest rounds so far. 4-minute burn off the clock, no engagements, no damage being done. I will say, though, the one thing that favors Falcons is the CCTV walls. They are not reinforced. The roam is simply a soft extension that's only going to be held for a brief period of time. As we see now, all MnM defenders have fallen off this extended position. They're playing now downstairs in bar, they're playing on the bomb site itself. They're not going to try and give Falcons any easy or early kills in this round. MnM, once again, they want that 4v4 or 5v5 bomb site brawl rather than the early engagements. Oh, they double reinforced the office walls, actually, even.
There's a late reinforcement, too, obviously, but those X-Kairos are going to go off. Now, Uzus needs to be a little bit concerned with somebody potentially pressuring him through logistics. For the time being, he's relatively safe. Jacuzzi wall opened up as well. Oh, no. Oh, Nave. Playing downstairs with a Nitro Cell, expecting somebody to go towards Logi, and it's going to be some shrewd maneuvering by Oakhills, who throws up a nade. It does damage to Solotov. Doesn't kill him, though. The Ana of Oakhills able to get out of there.
Just barely. I mean, this is messy, right? Oakhills goes downstairs, gets a kill, Nade C4 is removed now, and they recognize this, but Solotov and Uzus, they both have a C4 at their disposal, too. So if they remember, could go downstairs, play for that post-plant later on in the round. There is just 35 seconds left. Where this plant gets planted is going to be the big question for Falcons. They're not ready yet.
Valentino's got that diffuser in hand. He needs to get in. 2 smokes as well. And do some damage to MnM. Not literal damage, but enough to get them out of that position. Flashes in towards the bathroom. Izami in that spot, but Solotov walks up, takes down Mad Skills. Nello shouldering off a lot of damage. Right now, Falcons have to go through the window. That's all they can do.
The fire.
They can't deny it. Joker now in, finds Solotov. Valentino with diffuser. Only hope is for MnM to stop it. It's only Nello. And my goodness gracious, they came all the way from the Middle East. And they walk away with a victory in their very first international match here at the Copenhagen Major. Falcons, 7-5 over MnM.
Yeah, that should be the case, though. I mean, they thought they knew the plan was going down, but they didn't. So Falcons, they just steal the show, and Joker, once again, so formidable on the entry. Falcons, they do the impossible.
Incredible performance, defying the odds. And now MnM will be the team fighting for their lives in a best-of-3 against Fury later today. We'll be right back. Sit tight. Well, if you were somebody putting bets on this matchup, I don't think you probably would have put money on what the result is, which is a 7-5 victory for Falcons over MnM.
But so close to overtime. So close.
Overtime still eluding us today. It started off looking like MnM were the better team. They were matching the aggression of Falcons, who wanted to take every engagement possible. And as this was happening, MnM was simply winning. I mean, they are the more experienced team, that is inarguable. But what you can argue is that experience is not all that important.
No, and Falcons, we kind of had the question, how deep do their strats go? How many different styles of seeds can they pull out? Honestly, they played the fast, the slow, execution, strat-oriented, and of course, as we saw, that aggressive, fun-forward, dynamic style. And they impressed me all the way through, to be honest. And in that final round that we saw, 7-5 match for, 6-5 match point rather, they were just like, you know what? There's 2 seconds left, we'll just go. It seems like they don't really feel the pressure when it matters the most. And that's exactly what they need to be doing, because when the pressure is highest, you gotta be as calm as you can be.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that the bigger issue with this team was going to be, how are Falcons going to do on attack? It's easy to be aggressive on defense. It's easy on defense to be able to get into positions that, you know, the attackers might not have droned out, or, you know, maybe they drone it, then they don't re-drone it, and you're able to take advantage of that as well. But on attack, they looked so formidable. Round after round, it just seemed like MnM was not prepared for where the Falcons were going to be. And in the engagements that we did see, the one great strength of MnM seemed to fall by the wayside, especially as both Valentino and Joker were heating up, coming close to having both them break double digits.
I was going to say, Uses did his best, right? He was popping off, had a 4K one round, at 3K the following, but outside of Uses really stepping up, I feel like the rest of MnM, they got to help the man out a little bit more. It's just a little bit more. Yeah,
I mean, it's a team effort. You win as a team, you lose as a team. Obviously, MnM are not going to be happy with that performance. They've got a couple hours until their matchup against Fury, and they could end up going home today. So obviously, a lot of pressure on their shoulders. But the real story is the success of Falcons. You probably want to hear from them. Valentino and Ginny, an interview.
Absolutely.
Now.
We have Valentino ready for the interview. First of all, ألف مبروك.
Thank you so much.
أنا فخورة بكم. So congratulations. Let's start with addressing the fact that this is the first time that MENA is competing on the international stage, and you guys had an incredible game. So the emotions that you're feeling right now.
I mean, looking at the situation, first of all, alhamdulillah, thanks to God, first of all. Looking at the situation, we are missing our IGL, Jalad. I had to IGL instead of him. It's my first time IGLing, but thankfully, it went well. I mean, no one expected this to happen, especially against someone like MnM, a top team in Europe. We did great, and I'm proud of myself, proud of the team. And we are here to represent MENA, always.
You guys are doing an amazing job at that.
Thank you.
I mean, you said it yourself, MnM, one of the teams in Europe that have been very consistent with their performance. Yes. So coming into today specifically, because it's a best of one, it must have been very stressful in that regards. What did you do before getting into the game to prepare for it?
We have been scrimming for the past 1 week. The boys came early and started screaming without me. I just landed like this morning. I haven't slept yet. Okay. I'm really sleepy, but it's not an excuse. The job has to be done. Thankfully, we learned from some mistakes through scrims. We focused more on fixing them, and it paid out.
It did. It paid out indeed. You guys have a best of 3 coming as well.
Yes.
So, but that you still get some rest. You can get some sleep tonight. So going into that, what will be your main focus?
In best of 3s?
Yes.
I mean, the next game should be best of 1 because it's the upper bracket, isn't it? Or you mean in phase 2?
In phase 2.
Oh, in phase 2.
Because I'm a believer.
Yeah.
Okay.
In phase 2, I mean, we will do our maximum, our best, not to go into the losing games, but we'll make sure to win every single game. We will do our best. We will always do our best, as usual.
As usual. Well,
as usual.
Because it's the first time that we're having men on stage, I want you to maybe have something to share with the fans at home. They're watching. You can look into the camera. You can be honest with them.
شكرا كثير لكل اللي عم يتابعنا، وهيدا الشيء اللي عم نعمله نحن لكم، بس حرفيا لكم. نحن عم نقدم شيء للريجن، وان شاء الله نكون على قد المستوى. هاي بداية خير وحنكمل كمان اكثر ان شاء الله. Thank you so much everyone.
Thank you guys for tuning in. And we're going to head to a break. No, that's okay.
When you have two teams from the same region going up against one another, you're best friends. But in the server, you want that win. You want it so bad. Our two Brazilian teams in the grand final for the first time ever. Ninjas and Pajamas!
Some tournaments you have a better feeling about winning, and that one, it was ours.
Our second Brazilian team, Team Liquid!
NIP was very well prepared. They were like top 1 team in Brazil.
It goes to Brazil no matter who wins it, but for NIP, it means a lot.
We lost to SSG a year before, and then we knew like in our hearts that this is an invitation we need to win, you know.
It was a very difficult time for us as a team.
It was pretty hard, like especially because of what happened to me at the moment. Like I lost my dad during the competition.
In that final, I think Liquid kind of won people's hearts because of the tragedy that had happened, but because they had also played incredibly well throughout the tournament and through the grand final. They gave us an incredibly entertaining game.
Sidecore goes big with 4 kills to push them over the line on Cafe, and that is going to be NIP 2-0 on maps. There you go, the kill comes in. He knew exactly where the man was coming from, and that's going to be Team Liquid taking our second map of Chalet. Palu, 1 second left to go. Diffuser goes down in the absolute nick of time, but Moringa, he gets a huge kill, Des! He gets a huge kill! We're going all the way to 5. We're going to find out who really is the best in Brazil. Palu cannot find the kill. Out comes the Nitro. Shot out by Pino. That is the round in 2020. Brazilian hearts were broken, but like a phoenix, NIP rise from the ashes to claim the hammer at the 6th Invitational 2021.
It was one of the best days of my life. I think we can compare that as a Brazilian team winning the World Football Cup.
I think winning the 6th Invitational was the best feeling ever I had.
Was the best moment of my life in the sports scene for sure. I was crying a lot. I was out of control.
We were very sad to lose, but we understood the limits of the team at the time, and we were very proud.